Welcome everyone to Wellness Wednesday. They say, actually, many, not just they, right? There are many scriptures, holy scriptures that say, breath is life. When you breathe, you live. And if we cease to breathe, we cease to live, right? And it's a fact. I mean, you hold your breath long enough and you are out of breath, you just go, right? You die. And joining me today is a breath expert, is someone who actually, over a couple of weeks ago, taught me what it means to breathe, to really breathe. Joining me in our show today is Piyachai Teo. Piyachai, welcome to the show and super glad that you're joining us again on Wellness Wednesday as we talk about how we can look at 6 different dimensions of wellness, right? We can look at nutrition, we can look at better sleep, better health, we can look at better fitness, and ultimately, hopefully, we'll have a better life in the process, right? So, again, we
That's
talked
right.
about that six different dimension of wellness that we'll be speaking on Wellness Wednesday. Today, a
Mhm.
big part of wellness is the ability to breathe. I mean, breath is life, right, Piachai?
That's right. So what's up, man, Roshan? Thanks for having me back here on Wellness Wednesdays. And you are exactly right, right? It is again the first thing we ever do as we enter to this earth. It's also the last thing we do as we leave this earth, right? The first thing that people check
That
whether
final
somebody's
breath,
alive. That's right, the
that
final
final
breath, that
breath.
one perfect breath right at the end, right?
Right,
So
right, right.
yeah.
As we breathe it all away. But we one of the things I think is very interesting from your sharings with me and some of the research that I've been reading about is that there is actually power in our breath. There is healing. There is stress reduction. There is so many dimensions to breathing well. And I know the last round you talked a little bit about the parasympathetic state and the sort of sympathetic state. Maybe you can just refresh us a little bit in terms of these 2 states that we are constantly in, both the parasympathetic state and what we call the sympathetic state.
Yeah, so for anyone who's actually wondering what is Roshan talking about in terms of what is sympathetic state, the parasympathetic state, these are actually the 2 main states that our nervous system has. And based on the state that you are in, your brain, your body, it will function in different ways. So the sympathetic state is also known as the stressed out state or the fight or flight mode. In this particular state, because there is perceived danger that's happening all around us, all the energy is focused on the external environment. Again, what that means is all the energy goes into your muscles, your pupils are dilated, adrenaline is rushing through the body so that you're ready to react, so you're ready to run, you're ready to move, right? Again, in the sympathetic state, less energy goes into your immune system, less energy goes to the digestive system. Then, of course, there is the other state, which is the parasympathetic state, the rest and relax state. In this state, when there is no more perceived danger around us, all the energy then goes back into the immune system, goes into the digestive system, allowing you to really heal and recover. So I think one of the biggest reasons why we decided to have this topic today is because in reality, how the world is based right now, how the world is right now, majority of people are constantly living in a sympathetic state, right? So less people, like you can show a lot of research is being done on this, and it shows that actually majority of people are not even able to activate their parasympathetic state because in reality they are constantly living in a sympathetic state, a stressed out state. And why this is bad is because imagine driving a car at 300 km per hour 24/7. That's pretty much what everybody is going through right now, especially leaders, right? So you are a leader, Roshan. You would know that as leaders, it's very hard to just sit back, rest, and relax. We're always thinking about that next level, that next step, how to take it better, bigger, higher. And again, because of that, leaders especially are always in a sympathetic state, which is why you can hear stories of like CEOs who are like active, who run, who are supposedly healthy, they suddenly get a heart attack
Mm.
or they
Yep.
suddenly get some sort of stroke that bam, they're in the hospital without even realizing. Why? Because again, subconsciously, they are constantly living in that sympathetic state. right? So our hope is that today I can show you and everybody who's watching here today how to really down regulate themselves from a sympathetic state to a nice parasympathetic state, a nice rest and relaxed state, so that they can actually start healing themselves, so their immune system can get stronger, that their digestive system can get stronger, and so that they can actually live a longer but healthier life as well.
And how does this work? I mean, I mean, one of the things we postulate, I guess, is that breathing enables you to get into this state, right?
Hmm.
But what's the science behind it? I mean, just by breathing, because everybody says I breathe, right? Uh,
That's right.
but I'm still in this state, right? How does,
Hmm.
and you, I know your answer is you don't breathe right, and you're going to teach us in a bit. So I mean, stay tuned, because I'm going to make Piyachai teach us how to take those breaths in an appropriate way to get into that state.
Hmm.
Of what we call a parasympathetic relaxed state where the body can really rest. But before we go there, tell us a bit about the science. I mean, what does breathing activate that enables us to get into this state of calmness, of peace, of recovery that we need probably on a daily basis. We need to be in this state at least once
Hmm.
a day or so, right? Is
Hmm.
there a science behind it?
Yeah, so there actually is, right? So if you think about it, there's a very simple reason why anytime somebody's angry or somebody's sad or somebody's upset, the first natural instinct that somebody tells the person to do is what? Is to just breathe. Hey, just breathe, just relax. Why? Because most of the time when people are in that sympathetic state, chances are they're either holding their breath or they're taking really short, shallow, chesty breaths. They're not really breathing anymore. And because of that, they're not able to trigger this nerve that runs straight through your nervous system called the vagus nerve. All right, the VAGUS nerve,
Oh,
right?
it's not Vegas as in Viva Las Vegas. It's
Yeah, it's not some
Vegas.
Las
Vegas.
Vegas thing where you gamble your stress away, right?
There you
It is
go.
this,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. So it's this nerve that runs straight through your nervous system, and when you can learn to stimulate that nerve, that's what allows you to go from a sympathetic state to a parasympathetic state. So the people who do this the best are monks.
Hmm.
So if you ever see monks, right? Like monks are those people who don't have all the money in the world, who don't have all the luxuries, don't have all the riches that people tell you to be that people tell you you need to be happy. And yet, if you look at monks, they're very peaceful and they're very happy people in their own rights. Why? Because they are breathing in a certain way that stimulates this vagus nerve. So actually, there is a very simple way to trigger this vagus nerve. So if you want, just take your hand, put it on your throat for a moment, right? Just take it on your hand and put it on your throat for a moment. Take a deep breath in, as deep of a breath in as you can take right now. We'll show you how to breathe later, right? So just take a deep breath in. And when you let it go with some sound. Just ha. Right? We're gonna try it again. Take a deep breath in, and you're gonna let it go with some sound. Take a deep breath in and let it go. Ha. Okay, good. Now you're gonna try it again. Take a deep breath in, and this time when you let it go without any sound. All right. So take a deep breath in and let it go. And now one more time, you're gonna take a deep breath in and you're gonna let it go with sound. All right. Take a deep breath in and ha. That's right. So if you realize, right, you realize when you let it go with some sound, there was a vibration, right? Do you
Hmm.
feel that vibration?
Yep.
That vibration, what happens is you are stimulating the vagus nerve. When you learn to create that vibration, you learn to stimulate that vagus nerve. And again, when you stimulate that vagus nerve, you take your nervous system from a sympathetic, stressed out state to a parasympathetic, rest and relaxed state. Which is why if you look at monks are humming all the time, right? They take that deep breath in and then and then people think like, what is this chanting happening? What is this spiritual
They're
thing
just
that might be
breathing, right?
happening? That's right. Actually, in reality, they are
Right. So
just
it's a
breathing. And when they
Okay.
hum, it stimulates that vagus nerve, allowing them to always be in a calm, peaceful, restive, relaxing state. Yeah. So that ultimately is the science behind it of why taking a deep breath is so powerful, right? It changes the
Right.
chemistry in your body, it changes your physiology, it just makes everything a lot better.
Mm. So
Hmm.
we definitely want you to show us how to do this right, because I think majority of people in the world we breathe right. Obviously, we are all breathing, but for some reason we are still in this sympathetic state of intensity and sort of stress and anxiety and all these other things and we're constantly in there. And then, of course, at night when we sleep and we hear the ping on our WhatsApp or whatever it is, we get back. We even though we are sleeping, we sometimes are in a state of anxiety and we have struggled sleeping. So, how, and maybe you can show us a little bit what is the
Mm.
right way and what is the wrong way, and why
Mm.
is it that we are breathing wrongly? I mean, why can't we get this right?
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a last question first of why most people are breathing wrongly. Okay, because at the end of the day, our breath is actually there to support us. It
Okay.
is there to support us, to help us go through the different activities that we go through. But again, because of that, most people, their breathing is constantly reacting to their thoughts. And as the breath reacts to their thoughts, in over the past 5 years, as technology has evolved, people's thoughts have also evolved. And it's only
Okay.
again in the past 5 years that people are constantly living in a stressful state. Because maybe again, say 10 years ago, you're not connected to your emails, right? Social media is not very big. WhatsApp is not very big. So people aren't connecting and aren't stressed out so much. But because of the way the world is right now, and everyone's thoughts is like stressful, worry, fearsome thoughts, their breath is also like constantly in that state, and that's why it has become dysfunctional.
Mm.
That's why it has broken down. So most of the time, if you see someone who's stressed, they're either short, shallow breaths, or they're breathing into their chest,
Right.
or they're
Right.
breathing through their mouth. So if you see a lot of people, you would hear a lot of people, they would say, I'm a mouth breather right now.
Mm.
Okay, so again, there's no such thing
And
as
and
mouth
and and you,
breather.
and your take is we should be breathing through our nose, right? Not through our mouth.
That's right. Right. If you see any baby, if you just watch a baby breathe, they're always just breathing in and out using their nose. That's what the nose is for. It's for breathing. The mouth is for eating, right? And so again, that's the reality to
And
it.
this is because we get into a stress state, and we just are grasping for air, and so we use the mouth, which is a bigger sort of open window, to get the breaths.
Yes,
Okay, got it.
yes,
Okay,
yes, yes.
so that makes a lot of sense. And I guess COVID played a significant part, and we have an article, I think, that
Mhm,
we can kind of reference, that talked a lot about how this pandemic actually has triggered a 25% increase in anxiety and depression worldwide, right?
mhm,
So that's quite significant, right? Because I guess COVID put us, and Piyachai, maybe you can add to this, but I'm assuming COVID forced us to be on our devices 24/7, kind of hooked on, whether it's Netflix or whether it's whether it's for entertainment or whether it's our communication. We're always sort of hooked on our devices, right?
mhm.
Um, is that I mean, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, yeah, exactly right, right. So now, and it's not just that, it's also that people are not connecting as much. So one
Mm,
way to relieve stress previously is people start connecting with each other, going out for drinks,
right.
going out for, like social gatherings, but that has also decreased. So people are
Right.
like stuck in their own little worlds. They're constantly connected. And again, as you said, because they are constantly connected, they are triggered to always remain connected, to expect that there's some email there that they've missed, some notification, right? So a lot of times people are like, oh, maybe I haven't replied all my emails, or I haven't checked this one message that might be important, right? And again, that fear, that anxiety, whether I missed something out, whether something important's happening without me knowing, puts a lot of like stress on people's minds without them realizing. And again, this is causing a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression. And this is also, like they've shown research, this is also costing companies
Mm,
billions of dollars, because the
right,
productivity of their staff, of their employees, of their team directly contributes to how well the business does,
right.
right? And because of the stress and mental health issues that their company's staff is experiencing, it's costing companies a lot of money as well.
Very good.
So yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into these techniques, right? So teach us how to breathe,
Mm,
right, Piyachai? Show us the
mm.
way, man.
Okay. So the one breath that I want to really share with all of you who are watching here today is a beautiful breath that I love, called relaxation breathing. All right. So relaxation breathing basically has 3 steps to it. Right. There are 3 steps to relaxation breathing. So the first step is you're going to breathe into your stomach. So how you want to think about breathing is just like a balloon. When you put air into a balloon, the balloon inflates. Similarly, when you inhale, you want to feel your body expanding, not going up and down. All right. So again, you want to take one hand, put it on your stomach, take the other hand and put it on your chest. So step one, you're going to breathe into your stomach. Step two, you're going to breathe into your chest. And step three, with an ah sound, you're going to let the breath go. That's right. So again, step one, you're step two, you're going to breathe into your chest. And step three, with an ah sound, just good. Let the breath go. So when you take a deep breath, if you notice your stomach not moving, if you see your chest just moving, your shoulders going up and down, this means you are chest breathing, right? So you want to relax those shoulders, you want to relax the neck, you want to relax the body. And again, you are actively inhaling in, and you are passively just letting it go, right? And if you're feeling stressed, if you're feeling like really tired, do it more than once. Do it 10, 15, 20 times. Because again, guys, this is actually, Roshan, I'm sure you can realize as well, it's a breath that you do very, very naturally
Yeah,
when you are
yeah.
stressed, right?
The
Like,
R
have you
part
noticed?
definitely, right? You're
Right?
like
Have you
when you're
noticed?
stressed, you're like you just want to let it go, right? And I think that's what it is, right? You're breathing in the oxygen and you're breathing in relaxation, you're breathing in, joy and all these other things, right? And you want to breathe
Hmm.
out the mess, the stress, the
Yep,
pain, the anguish, and all that stuff, right?
that's right.
And how do you I mean, what do you recommend? You recommend multiple, you said many times, right? What is there a specific number, 20, 30, 50, 100 breaths? I mean, what's ideal for, let's assume you're in a state of anguish, you're in a state of stress. How do you really get into a parasympathetic state? Not, I'm assuming 1 2 breaths won't do it, right?
Mm. So I would say take at least 10 to
Okay.
30 breaths, right? So depending on how you feel at that point in time, if you feel like you need it more, you're really in a really bad state, then do at least 30 of these breaths, right? But the minimum, I would say at least take 10 of these breaths. So whenever you notice your body going, like the next time you notice yourself, right? You're going through your day, you're doing your own thing, and then you're very subconscious going, that's when you realize, oh, okay, I'm stressed. That means I should let more of this go. And at that point, double down on nature, because nature knows what your body is going through. When that happens, it's telling you, hey, Roshan, I'm stressed. Let's let some of this go. And then you take 10 of these deep breaths in, and then you just let it go. And
So
again,
so
as you
let,
sit,
I mean, quick
go
question,
on.
and we'll repeat this exercise so that everybody gets it, right? In a
Sure.
bit. But before that, do we have to be in a relaxed state? Do we lie down, or can we sit down, or do we stand up, or what's the best
Mm.
way to sort of make sure we optimize our breathing here?
So the best way to really be able to let it go is if you can take a few minutes, either sit down or lie down. so that you can
Okay.
really relax and let it go. But of course, I
Okay.
understand that there are times, busy people, leaders, they don't have time to just sit down for even 5 minutes. So you can even like just, you can do it sitting down. Just sit down again, relax, take 5 to 10 deep breaths. Because as you do this, you might start feeling lightheaded. As you take your deep breaths, the more deep breaths you take, you might start feeling lightheaded.
Hmm.
You might start feeling like this little high, right, as you experienced the other day by taking these deep breaths. So ideally, you should be sitting down when you can nicely relax and let go.
Right, right. So sit down, lie down.
Mhm.
Must try to be in a relaxed state. So I'm gonna sit down and let's do this again. How do we? So we put our hands in our stomach. Make sure our
That's right.
stomach is coming out as we breathe,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And as we let go, the stomach should kind of move back in, right?
That's right.
And
It
then
should
the
shrink. It'll
chest,
shrink back.
right? Yeah, you want to illustrate that again. So and our hands on the chest is to show that there's air coming first to the stomach, then to the chest, right?
That's right.
All
Right.
right.
So
Let's,
again,
let's do this.
3 steps to it. Right. First step, you're gonna breathe into the stomach. Second step, you're gonna breathe into the chest. Third step, with an R sound, you're just letting the breath go.
And this is
So
the R needing to be loud R, or just like when you finish an exam, you're like you got a loud R, right? But or is this a
yeah,
it doesn't
so
matter.
it's just a let go. So when I say let it go, I literally mean just let it go, because our chest, our lungs are elastic. When you take that deep breath in and you let it go, it will naturally go back to its place. What that means is you don't have to actively exhale in any way. You don't have to
Right.
like force it out, right? Or you don't have to like hold on to it or try to blow any extra air out. You are actively inhaling and you are just passively letting it go,
All right.
right?
All
So
right. Let's
so you
let's
can
let's
try.
try this one more time, and we'll take a couple of questions from some of our guests. I see
Sure.
some of the questions piling up. All
So
right. Let's
let's
do
try
this.
this, right? So one hand on the stomach, one hand on the chest. Shoulders relaxed, neck relaxed, body nice and relaxed. Take a deep breath in, first to the stomach, then the chest, and then just let it go. That's right. Take another deep breath in, all the way in, and let it go. Good. We're just gonna do 7 more of these. In, let it go. 6 more in, let it go. 5 more in, let it go. 4 more in, let it go. 3 more just in and let it go. 2 more in, let it go. And one last one in and let it go. Good, right?
Fabulous.
So that's a great thing that you can do anytime throughout your day. And there is this great analogy that I've had. Every time as we go through life, many people subconsciously are picking up rocks and putting it in their bags. As you continue your journey, it is better to sit down, relax, let go of all these rocks, empty your bag so that the journey becomes a lot easier. So, this is exactly what you're doing whenever you take time to take this 10 breaths. It's the same thing like removing the rocks from your bag, from removing the weight, the stress, the tension, the problems that's really holding you back. And then watch how your day becomes so much better. And it took us what, say 1 minute, 2 minutes doing that 10 breaths, right?
Absolutely.
So,
No, that's
so I'm
fabulous. Thanks. Thank you so much. There are a couple of questions. One question from Wax is, what about athletes? Would breathing be different for them, or is similar?
So for athletes, right? So this relaxation breathing is for everybody, right? Everybody needs to learn how to relax. But for athletes, the one big tip that I have for you is to make sure that you're always breathing in and out using your nose. Because athletes, especially, they have a tendency of using their mouth when they feel breathless, right? They go,
Yeah, right,
but
right,
research
right.
showed that if you can learn to breathe in and out using your nose, even when you are exercising, after 3 months of doing this, you actually become 30% more efficient with your breathing.
Wow.
What that means is you're wasting less energy as you breathe and you are recovering a lot faster. So you would
Hmm.
notice, right, for athletes, if you breathe in and out using your nose, your recovery rate is going to be a lot faster. Yeah.
And and
So
and
that's
and you said breathe in and out also with the nose, right?
that's right.
Because I know, so especially in things like yoga and stuff, they say, breathe in through your mouth, through your nose, but then breathe out through your mouth. But you're saying breathe in and out both through your nose. Is
That's
there
right.
is there a reason for that?
Yes. So when it comes to breathing, the biggest misconception is people think about oxygen. Oh, breathing is all about oxygen. But in reality, breathing is all about how comfortable you are with CO2 in your body, with the carbon dioxide that's in your body. So when you learn to breathe in and out using your nose, what you're doing is you're training your body to get more comfortable with having CO2 in the body. Because when you use your mouth, you can let go of more CO2. It's very quickly to let go of CO2. But when you're using your nose, as you notice, it's not so easy to let it go, right? And again, this trains your body to be more resilient towards
Right.
CO2. So when you see people with anxiety attacks, for example, they start breathing very quickly, like, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to get rid of the CO2 in their body because they're not comfortable with it. But when you start breathing in and out with your nose, again, especially when you're running, you're doing sports, and you get more comfortable with it, then each breath can be a lot longer. Like you're not forced to take that breath. So yeah, that is
Right.
the science behind the.
Right. This fantastic. So we're gonna end with a final segment, a little bit more on breathing in a bit, but just a bit of a preview. A couple of weeks ago,
2, 1, step
yeah,
in. Sit. And catch a
we plunged ourselves in ice a couple of weeks ago, and we've got footage of that. But before we get into that, we're going to take a short little break for about 30 seconds, and we'll be right back here. So here's a quick plug for our learning partner Nicole, and we'll be right back here in 30 seconds with Piyachai Teo. Welcome back to Wellness Wednesday. I'm with Piyachai Teo, and we're talking about breathing, where life basically is the basis of life is breath, right? And today he's been helping us to understand that when you breathe right, you enable your body to move away from what we call a sympathetic state, a state of anxiety, a state of stress, a state where our heart sort of beats faster, where our pupils dilate, and so on and so forth, and we can move to a state of what we call parasympathetic, where there's recovery, there's rest, there is the ability for the body to heal. And this is done through breathing. And Piyachai, if you missed the show, scroll back to the earlier part of the show and you'll be able to witness how we did 10 breaths and how we are to breathe right from the stomach to the chest and then let it go. Just let it go, like as Princess Anna would say in Frozen, right? Just let it go, right? And there you go, right? And Piachai, as we close up today, I know there is when we talked about nutrition, when we talk about fitness, when we talk about health and longevity and the ability to sleep well, breathing is part of it, but there's also the ability to manage your immunity, the ability to grow your immunity, to be able to withstand diseases and attacks from the outside, from external, from inside, and also the ability to control your mind, because we have a very powerful mind, and we'll be exploring this over the next couple of weeks as we engage with Piyachai and as we continue this series every Monday, Singapore time, 1 p.m. GMT 8 +8, you'll be able to catch Piyachai live. If not, you can catch our episodes on YouTube, Facebook, and also on LinkedIn. Piyachai, as we close out today, what advice would you give our viewers? Just before I'll double check if there's any other comments coming in. But what advice would you give our viewers as they start this new life of breathing better, so that they can live better, longer, wiser, and have less anxiety and stress? Your final piece of advice to them.
So my final piece of advice is breathe consciously, right? Stop leaving your breath to be subconscious. Learn to pay attention to your breath. Learn how to breathe consciously. And when you do that, make sure you're breathing in with your nose and you're breathing into your diaphragm. That is the biggest tip that I can give you right now. If you start doing that, you will suddenly see your energy levels increase, your health increase, your mood increase, your happiness increase, your performance increase, and so much more, right? So biggest myth, just because you're breathing does not mean you're breathing correctly. So breathe consciously and breathe correctly. So yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Piyachai. Now, there's a couple of great articles on Leaderonomics.com. So check out Leaderonomics.com. If you can't copy the link or you can't click on this, just go to Leaderonomics.com, go to search and type stress, and you'll see a whole number of articles on stress. And Piyachai will be joining our list of contributors and authors in a few weeks' time. So you'll be able to read some of Piyachai's content also on Leaderonomics.com coming up soon. And you'll be able to understand breathing, the science behind breathing, and how breathing is so powerful for all of us. With that, thank you so much for joining us here on Wellness Wednesday. We'll catch up with you next Wednesday, same time, same place here, and hopefully next week again with Piyachai Teo, Wellness Wednesday. Here's our team from Leaderonomics signing out from Wellness Wednesday. We'll see you next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a great time.
Bye, guys.